We've entered the last month of the hurricane season. The country has so far experienced a good one, as no major tropical storms have made landfall. But it's never too late for a shower of rain, so continue to be prepared. Ensure that your home has the necessary canned food items stored away, as well as energy supplies to provide light in the event there is a power outage. If you need to know the nearest hurricane shelter to your home, call the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management OPM at 876-906-9674. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this is Jamaica Magazine. It unfolds right now.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JICE News for Tuesday, November 5. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica is open to partner with other countries, including China, to create and assimilate new technology and innovations. He says this collaborative approach will effectively tackle the island's resilience and sustainability challenges.
We are excited to explore with your country the possibilities of pairing Jamaican minds and aspirations with Chinese experience and know-how in areas such as renewable energy, water security, agriculture, healthcare, and STEM education.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking Tuesday at the opening ceremony of the second China International Import Exposition in Shanghai. Jamaica is participating in the November 5 to 10 Expo as a guest country of honor. Mr. Holness expressed hope that the Expo would open doors and opportunities for Jamaican products and entrepreneurs in the strong and diversified markets of China. He also called for greater Chinese investments in various sectors of the Jamaican economy to include infrastructure, logistics, transport, mining, and financial services. The country currently benefits from 16 registered Chinese companies, which are pumping $3 billion into the Jamaican economy.
Jamaica is open for your business. My government's vision is to establish Jamaica as the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and most important, to do business.
The Ministry of Local Government will be distributing 25 2,000-gallon water tanks across all municipal corporations. The water relief program is to improve access to the commodity. Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie says millions of dollars were spent during the 2019 drought period to truck water to affected areas. He says the measures now being implemented are to prevent a repeat of the situation at the level experienced earlier this year.
Very shortly, myself and the Minister without portfolio in the officer in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will be making a special announcement as to a collective response to the question of water across the country. We're going to be working closely with the National Water Commission through the Ministry of Economic Growth.
Minister McKenzie was speaking at the official launch of Local Government and Community Month. He says each municipal corporation will receive at least one water truck by the end of March 2020. Other measures include setting up water shops in more communities, with 2 scheduled for commissioning this week in Portland. In the meantime, rainfall over the past few weeks have eased drought conditions in the Kingston and St. Andrew metropolitan area. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Pernell Charles Jr., says this has also increased water catchment. Minister Charles says storage levels at the Hermitage Dam is above 95%, and Mona Dam, which is twice its size, is at 90% of capacity. The minister adds that work on the replacement pipeline along the Ferry Main Road is progressing steadily, and measures will be put in place to ensure no further delay of the project.
We are putting some timelines in to ensure that we have weekly, daily meetings so that the chamber, profiling, the berth, the berm, the bridges, cross connections are all done. Once those are done and we can get water up Washington Boulevard, all of these areas like Zayde Gardens, Dunrobin Court, La Ventura, going down through Malines Road, all of those areas will see a return to consistency.
Minister Charles was speaking following the recent installation of a $2 million water supply system at Dunrobin Court in St. Andrew. Installed by the National Water Commission, the system includes 4 1,000-gallon water tanks and a pressurized pump. The Commission will fill the tanks 3 times per week, bringing reprieve to residents who have been severely impacted by the break in the 18-inch transmission main. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, is looking to increase its fleet of buses with the acquisition of diesel and electric vehicles. Minister of Transport Robert Montego says the JUTC will also be repairing 15 of its articulator buses next month.
Electric buses are much more expensive to acquire, but they are cheaper to maintain. And they give you a better ride, they are good for the environment. And JPS already has put up 14 charging stations across the island for general use.
According to the Transport Minister, the electric buses will be able to run for 8 hours and have an additional battery. Education State Minister Orlando Tarilong is imploring the nation's youth to work hard with persistent dedication to realize their goals in life. Minister Tarilong was speaking to students at the Go Higher conference held at the Jamaica Conference Center on Thursday.
Preparation, passion. Those are 2 things that you must never forget. Have a passion for what you want to do in life and make sure that you are prepared to do every single thing you need to do to get to where you want to in life.
The Go Higher Conference, which is in its 2nd year, was organized by the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. Its aim is to empower students and provide them with useful information about college preparation, brand building, entrepreneurship, finance, and accessing higher education. And finally, Director of the HOPE program, Colonel Martin Rickman, is reiterating his appeal for more public and private sector entities to offer internship opportunities to HOPE participants.
Even if it is just one young person that you can take into your doors, that we can pay a stipend whilst we're training them on the job, even if it is one. If every company in Jamaica were to do 1 or 2 or 3, just a few, we can reach to many more of our unattached youth in Jamaica to help them to be better.
Colonel Rickman was speaking at Friday's graduation ceremony for 14 windscreen wipers. Participants are part of a 3-week windscreen wiper intervention initiative facilitated by the Heart Trust NTA, the National Service Corps, HOPE program, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the private sector. They were exposed to sessions on civics, conflict management, family life management, and career development.
This is only but a stepping stone for each of these young men. This is, let's call it the first step. I don't think it is, but this is a first step in their successful futures. Each and every one of these young men, I'm confident, are going to do well in life.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Go on, I work for the fitness, man. No, the fitness, I'm a care fitness, man. I'm paying a tax officer.
Oh, yeah. But you don't have to run, man.
Oh, respect.
No, man, you mean you don't have to go in there, man. You can pay vehicle fitness online.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, THG, make it easy for you now. You know, so now the excuse.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Respect, man. Hey, you still have to work on your fitness doing now.
I'm going to deal with it online.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Up next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
National Security Council considers 2 new pieces of legislation. Debate begins on Heart Trust merger bill and fire victims get keys to new home. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is currently on an 8-day official working visit in the People's Republic of China. He left the island Friday with a delegation consisting of Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw and Minister of Foreign Affairs Kamina Johnson-Smith. On his arrival Sunday, Mr. Holness met with members of the Jamaican diaspora in the country. He's tapped to make stops in 4 key Chinese cities where he will be holding bilateral talks with President Xi Jinping, municipal leaders, as well as other public and private sector officials. Prime Minister Holness will also be addressing and touring the China International Import Exposition. While in the Asian country, he is to get a first-hand view of China's shipping and logistics operations and will visit several historical sites. Mr. Holness will return to the island on November 10. Until then, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of the government. Before his departure, the Prime Minister was in Western St. Andrew Friday to hand over keys to a rehabilitated 5-bedroom home for fire victims. On July 9, a 1-year-old died while 14 children and 11 adults were left homeless after fire destroyed their home along Bay Farm Road. A new dwelling was built for them at a cost of $8.01 million under the housing component of the HOPE program. Mr. Holness says the $1 billion HOPE initiative will address the housing needs of the poorest among us.
It is distributed island-wide, and each member of parliament has been given 5 housing solutions, so they can, based upon their demand and in consultation with the HOPE Secretariat, determine each year 5 housing problems that they have that they need to solve, and they can use the resources.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for greater parental supervision and protection of children from preventable catastrophic events such as fires. He made the call following Friday's deadly fire, which claimed the lives of 2 young boys and injured 2 small girls at Paradise in Norwood St. James. Mr. Holness expressed deep sadness at the tragedy and urged parents to meet their obligation of ensuring the safety and protection of their children. Following a meeting of the National Security Council on Thursday, the Prime Minister announced that the Constabulary and the Defence Forces would beef up security for the Christmas period. The security operation will see the deployment of 400 personnel to tackle the challenge of dons, guns, and gangs. During the meeting, Mr. Holness was updated on the advances made in several crime-fighting legislation, the 33 convictions secured by MOCA, and the potential impact of ongoing civil unrest in Haiti. Later Thursday, the Prime Minister also received an update on plans to build a new Parliament building at National Hero Circle. The meeting involved the board and management of project managers, the Urban Development Corporation, as well as architects, design collaborative architects, and town planners. The team had the winning design in the Houses of Parliament competition with their mock-up out of many won people. A day earlier, Mr. Holness was meeting with a delegation from the Office of Utilities Regulation and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Those discussions centered on projects that are aimed at improving the lives of the Jamaican people.
This is truly a great tragedy. It saddens me deeply, and I'm certain that the teaching staff and the school community generally is very saddened by this, and we want to extend to Benjamin's parents our deepest sympathies.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, during Tuesday's visit to Clancarthy Primary School, where 7-year-old Benjamin Bear was killed by a runaway garbage truck the day before. Mr. Holness instructed the Ministry of Education to launch a probe into the freak accident. In addition to tightening the safety and security procedures of the school, the Prime Minister said an investigation would be carried out to see what measures could have been taken to prevent the incident. Prime Minister Andrew Holness was in Parliament on Tuesday to open the debate on amendments to the Human Employment and Resource Training HEART Act 2019. The bill will see to the merge of the Hartrust NTA, the National Youth Service, the Apprenticeship Board, and the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning. They will form a new entity, the Hartrust National Training and Service Agency NTSA.
Until we took the decision to merge the entities, many unattached youth were turned away from one agency and redirected to another, and in the process, many fell through the cracks. Now, every single person who knocks on the door of the Hartrust NTA is given a roadmap for a productive life and a meaningful future.
And during a question and answer segment in Parliament Tuesday, Mr. Holness said 2 pieces of legislation were being developed to give permanence to the National Security Council. They are the National Security Council Act and the National Intelligence Act. He said the acts would allow government and opposition the chance to discuss sensitive issues of national security through the Internal and External Affairs Committee of Parliament. Back at Jamaica House, the Prime Minister received books from young writer Canton Hardy and chef Wenford Simpson. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Zap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, we fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. If pain lick your head and your joints and your eye, and you want fever vomit and your temperature high, it could be dengue, don't hesitate. See a doctor, don't self-medicate. For some painkiller can make you bleed and you will try to recover and no succeed. We no want pop down and fenke. We fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
The human papilloma virus, also called HPV, is one of the most common sexually transmitted infections. HPV infections are also one of the main causes of cervical cancer. The government is seeking to protect our girls by providing the HPV vaccine free of cost. Watch this next feature for more on the HPV vaccine.
Globally, cervical cancer is the second most common type of cancer in women, with over 85% occurring in developing countries. Every year, 528,000 new cases are diagnosed, and there are approximately 270,000 deaths. By 2050, without any intervention, the number of diagnosed cases of cervical cancer is expected to increase to 1 million per year, with approximately 90% of the deaths occurring in developing countries like ours. A major factor is the human papilloma virus, HPV, of which there are approximately 200 types that infect epithelia, or skin tissue. At least 14 types of the human papilloma virus have been found to cause cancer of the cervix. Types 16 and 18 are responsible for 70% of cancers of the cervix, which is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in Jamaica. The virus can be transmitted through skin-to-skin contact, from mother to child at birth.
Current estimates indicate that every year, just under 400 women are diagnosed with this disease, with approximately 185 dying from the disease, with the majority of deaths occurring in women between the ages of 40 and 64 years of age.
A prevalence study conducted in Jamaica in 2010 revealed that the overall prevalence of any type of HPV infection was 54%. Cancer-causing HPV types were detected in 34.9% of the women, and HPV types 16 and 18 were found in 10.5% of the general population and in 71% of women with abnormal pap smears. This reality has prompted the Jamaican government to take the initiative to prevent cervical cancer through the introduction of the bivalent human papilloma virus HPV vaccine.
The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends that HPV vaccines be included in national immunization programs as a core strategy for primary prevention against cervical cancer. WHO states, Mr. Speaker, that HPV vaccination for girls ages 9 to 14 years is the most cost-effective public health measure against this disease.
More than 70 countries around the world, including more than 20 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, have already introduced the vaccine.
Several studies and monitoring by the World Health Organization, WHO Global Advisory Committee on Vaccine Safety proved that HPV vaccination is safe and works extremely well, decreasing the number of HPV infections and related precancers. The bivalent HPV vaccine, introduced by the Ministry of Health in schools at grade 7 to girls ages 9 to 14, provides for 90 to 100% protection against HPV types 16 and 18. The vaccine is offered free of cost.
Bear in mind too, by the way, the cost to administer one of these vaccines, for us, the cost is somewhere in the region of $7-8 US. If you go into the private sector, you're looking at anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000. So it's not inexpensive.
This vaccine is not mandatory, and beneficiaries received opt-out forms for parents and guardians to give or refuse permission for their girl child to receive the vaccine.
We can take it that the indication, if anything, is that they want this. They identify with this. I remember one girl indicated that her mother actually called her aunt, who is a nurse, for advice. So that spells good. It says that persons are prepared to consult, get information, and then make informed decisions. And so that is going well.
Approximately 22,500 girls were targeted for the vaccine's introduction in 2017, with each girl needing 2 doses given 6 months apart for full protection.
Generally speaking, the process has gone smoothly.
The school-based strategy for implementation seeks to facilitate greater access to the targeted population. This covers the cost for social mobilization and communication, cold chain equipment, training and sensitization, and procurement of vaccine and vaccination supplies. And this disease prevention strategy will save the government millions. The Ministry of Health estimated that annual cost for the program after introduction will be 73.3 million Jamaican dollars.
In Jamaica, the estimated cost is of the just under 400 cases annually, Mr. Speaker, is some $274 million. I should point out that this figure is only for radiotherapy and does not include diagnosis and chemotherapy.
And for the individual, not just the emotional and physical trauma caused by this cancer is removed, but the financial burden.
In the United States, cost on diagnosis is approximately some 15,000, just under 16,000 US dollars. If the patient survives for a year, this rate goes up to approximately 30,000 US dollars.
Despite vaccination, persons will still need to do their routine pap smear to check for any threat or signs of the cancer, as the key to effective treatment, if it should occur, is early detection. For more information or to have your concerns answered, you can call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line 1-888-1-LOVE or 1-888-663-5683. Also email hpvinfo@moh.gov.jm. You can also visit the website moh.gov.jm as well as social media channels.
In spite of all our differences, along with all our problems, I believe
We've come to the end of our show, but only for today. Do catch us again tomorrow on this station. Here's a reminder to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, our Twitter page. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.